Islam fam. It's your brother Koo. Happy Holy Day. Happy Holy Day, Muslims. This particular video, man, I just wanted to first off send my love and my wishes to all my Moors out here, my indigenous peoples. And then, I don't have many dreams, but when I do, and I actually remember them, I'll talk about them. So, the message I got from my particular dream was the fact that there's no one being that has all the solutions. So to say that this is the only solution or this is the only way, it's wrong. It's wrong and it's arrogant because there's never just one way. There's never just one way. All right? And people who live day to day on an everyday basis can tell you there's millions of ways to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm traveling, I can take this road every day, or next day I can take this road down, make a right. The day after that, I could take the opposite road and make a left. Like, there's different ways you can go about doing the same thing to get the same results. If they're producing the results you wish, right? If they're not, that means there's things that need to be changed. But in this modern day and time, y'all, a lot of people are making a lot of big deals out of little things. And when I say little things like, and this is based off my own comprehension and understanding now, you know what I'm saying? Because it seems like people or organizations or groups of people want to claim titles to things that have been in existence since time immemorial, and then they want to apply it or confine it to, small organizations or to a selected few group of people, when everyone has the right, to engage in that. But they keep it in such a secret type of fashion that it makes it hard for people to know what's really obvious. Okay? It's really not a secret. It's just that our own people are not talking about this with us. All right? So what I'm saying basically is that I've seen the difference, and I've seen the argument people make now between being a Moorish American. I understand now why people do that. I get it. I understand. Because from my understanding, those of our elders who are still functioning and operating, through the Moorish Science Temple of America as the Prophet established it, I can see now that they're doing things from the perspective of being a U.S. citizen. Now, I love the Prophet, and I thank the Prophet for him bringing my knowledge of my family history. The Prophet didn't give me something that wasn't already mine, that wasn't already his. You see what I'm saying? The earth would have scolded him if he did not give us what was rightfully ours, due to the fact that our karmic debt had already been paid. So it's not that the Prophet chose like, if you don't do this, then give back your nationality card and your turban and your fez. Like, the Prophet didn't give you your turban and your fez. Okay? We come from an ancient people, yo. We all have mothers, yo. The Prophet had a mother, yo. So for us to sit here and say that the Prophet's way is the only way, you know what you're doing? You're closing and you're eliminating room for the new generations that have new thoughts, that are thinking at a higher vibration, at a higher rate, in a more modern way of doing things. Then you're shutting that off. You know what that's called? That's called you're shutting off the upgrades. Because we're coming down here, meaning the new generations, we're coming down here with the upgrades. The questions you didn't have answers to, we got those answers now. Okay? And not in an arrogant way, but it's time. The universe has said it's time for us sleeping giants to wake. It's time. This knowledge is universal. You know what I'm saying? So as far as it goes, and I understand now people want to use, Moorish American. And then they want to keep that specifically for Moors who are part of the temple. You know what I'm saying? And I don't got a problem with that. Other than that's not specifically for Moors to keep in the temple. Moors don't have that right. Y'all really don't understand how our government operates. You guys really don't. You really, really don't. You really don't. You guys really don't. Because you still think it's based off someone being over a large group of people. That's not how shit work, man. Everyone is in charge of themselves. And because they are in charge of themselves, they are part of a greater process that is working like a clock with different cogs and different wheels spinning to get the overall agenda done, which for a clock would be for it to go tick, 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 to tell you the right time, to be in the right cycle. Okay? So that's how we functioning today. We're not looking for a grand sheik. We're not looking for someone to be over us. You know why? Because if you've read the Red Book, okay, you would know that this is the day and age when we all must be our own high priest. Everyone must be their own high priest. So stop looking for a high priest outside yourself. You got to be your own high priest. Okay? No one man or no one organization has the answer to all. They have beautiful ideas of the Most High, and they brought it down and displayed it for everyone to see. Now, guess what? Now that done activated other parts of the DNA in other people. So now they can activate the Most High in them to do what they're supposed to do. So we need to stop looking at Prophet Drew Ali as, well, what the Prophet says is what we do, and what the Prophet did, like we need to stop looking at it like that. Stop looking at it like black and white. The Prophet did what he had to do to activate things within us to get us to think. The Prophet wasn't trying to think for us. He said he need us to think. So yeah, he did all this work with the Moorish Science Temple of America. But what good is it if we don't take the information and save ourselves? Ain't that what he said? He said, I've done everything to save the nation. Now take it and save yourselves. Okay, the nation's cool, but what about you? Are you cool? Are you good? Did you save yourself? Because if you haven't saved yourself, don't talk about saving other people yet. You got to save yourself first. All right? And that's what I'm saying. Don't think for a second I'm here and I'm like some type of hero, some shit like that. Nope. I'm just here to save myself and to save my family. So guess what? Other people can relate to that. They can see themselves in me because they're doing the same thing. They're trying to save themselves and save their family. So we can build on that. And that's all we need to build on at this point. Hello. That's all we need to build on at this point. So to do anything else or to believe in anything else is foolish, okay? We have many, many prophets throughout a millennia of time who have come to this earth to give us the message, to activate certain things in us so we can get to work. Not that we're waiting for someone to do the work for us so we can get to work. That's why the prophets came down and they spoke to who? Us. They spoke to the people whom they saw every day. They didn't go and say, I'm going to set up a special meeting. I just want to go see the president, or I just want to go see the vice president, or I just want to go see the Pope and this and that. No, they went to the people. So that lets you know where the power resides, in the people. Okay, because you got to get the people to think. You can't force someone to think, or you can't think for someone. Okay, you can't do that. So that's what, and you know what I'm saying, that's what that is about. So when we're talking about doing the history on Moors, I can tell you, as I've gone further back in my research, there's tons of history on Moors. Okay, but the Prophet is the one who coined the term Moorish American. Once again, I don't have no problem with that. You see, because I don't feel the Prophet was trying to divide us. Okay? But it seems like today, the thinking is that if you follow the Prophet, you're Moorish American. If you're doing anything other, you're just a Moor. And I'm like, yo, we're all Moorish Americans. We're all Moors. It just lets us know that when we start doing the history, it's talking about Moors, not Moorish Americans. The Prophet came with that term. Why? Because Moorish Americans didn't we didn't fall underneath that title, which is fine. But I don't have a problem rising where I fell either, though. You see what I'm saying? It seemed like some people have a problem. They're like, oh, well, we fell here, so let's just wipe the slate clean it off, and then, go for another one. And it's like, yo, we don't have to wipe the slate clean. Sometimes it's best to fall or to rise where you fell. You know why? Because if you rise exactly where you fell at, that means everything that happened, you still in the place where everything happened at. You still in the place where everything happened at. So if you're still there, then it's not hard to put clues together. All right? Or put things together so you can make more sense of your family story. Everyone has a story. So when we're saying that we're nationals, that we're indigenous, I'm not saying that because, whatever I done read. I'm saying that because I know my family story. You know who told me my family story? My mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather on both their sides. My aunts, my uncles. I'm still learning different parts about my story. So what I'm saying is I have one. I know it and I can tell it to you. So that's what makes me me. Because I know who I am. I know my story. I know where I come from. You know what I'm saying? And the story's getting deeper and deeper as I go. Everyone got a story. So if someone comes and asks you, hey, what's your story? Oh, well, who are you? Where are you from? I'm black. That's your story? You black? You got brought here on slave ships? That's the story you want to rock with. No, okay? Because like I said, I respect and I appreciate the prophet. He brought us knowledge of something that he gained in 1913. That's when he started the Canaanite temple. Okay? To get us to start thinking. You need to do something to activate certain things or chromosomes or genes in the DNA. Otherwise, they just stay dormant. So sometimes you need to do something like start an organization where, hey, we're gonna go back to this way of living. We've been living like this. We're gonna live like this because our ancestors lived like that. So we're gonna honor them. And look at the results. We back. The result is we back in our right state of mind. Our right state of mind. Not eating garbage foods. Not looking to do shiesty shit. Just looking to live in peace. Do righteousness all day, every day. Love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Looking for equality and justice wherever we go. You know what I'm saying? Enforcing our constitution and treaties. Not allowing people to walk over us and you understand what I'm saying? Denationalize us arbitrarily, which they can't do. No one can tell you who you are. And if anyone is claiming that they know who you are, then they gotta prove that shit in a court of law. And if they can't prove it in the court of law, that's called defamation of character, slander, and you can sue them for that in their public and their private capacity. But see, people don't know that. They don't know that. A lot of people don't know that these people in offices who are acting like government, they're scared. Because every day they're taking a risk. It is a risk that they're running. It is a risk to summon someone when you know they haven't committed a crime. You're just hoping that they don't realize that fact. That's a big ass risk. Okay? And so when we start putting things on blast, like with like suits, injunctions, etc., they don't like being put on a spotlight, yo. They're like cockroaches. What happens when you turn on the light with cockroaches? They start fleeing to the nearest, darkest crevice and corner they can find. They don't want to be seen in the light. They want to do their shit in the dark, where no one can see. All right? Put them on blast. They don't make them uncomfortable. I'm pretty sure Jay Inslee is fully aware that there's an injunction on his ass filed in the court since last year, November. I know he know that. I know his agents know that. I know the agencies know that. He's aware of November 8th. It don't matter to me whether he's show or not, because honestly, there's nothing for him to rebut in the injunction. There's nothing to rebut. He just got to be not show, default, automatic win. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not a fight to begin with. You can't debate the Constitution. You cannot debate the law. The law is not debatable. It's either you know it or you don't. Either you embody it or you won't. That's it. That's it. And anyone telling you anything else, anything other than that, they're bullshitting you. Okay? Because we can get caught up in all types of processes for days, for years, whatever. But what is the principle? Do you understand the principle? The principle. What is the principle? You see what I'm saying? Because some people, they just like to look at things from one side of the veil, and other people look at things from the other side. But you know, one thing I know for certain that both people who choose not to look at each other's perspectives are missing. They're missing the keys that person is seeing through that perspective. So there's keys on both sides. This is what I'm saying. There's never one entity or one being or one organization that has all the answers. We as a collective have all the answers. So we need to be thinking first individually, then as a collective. Then as a collective, we can enforce those birthrights and things like that. I'm not saying you can't do it individually, but you get a lot more done with a family. Wouldn't y'all agree? Many hands make lighter work. It's a lot easier to do this work when you got other soldiers ready to ride, ready to do this work with you of uplifting fallen humanity. That makes the job easier. I can tell you that much. So why wouldn't you want to roll with your family? We're talking about nationality here, for God's sakes. Nation, state. We're not talking about individual. You're talking about a group, a collective, a body. Like Asar and a Set. What happened? Asar got split apart. Now what happened with a Set? Putting the pieces back together. Okay? The one piece she couldn't find was the what? The reproductive organs. The reproductive organs of the man, which is based on what? Creation. What do we have to create? We have to create our livelihood. We have to create our reality. We have to create our way of self-sustaining. We have to create our heaven on earth. And the minute we stop creating our own heaven on earth, someone is making our hell on earth. All right? And that's just how that goes. There's no way around it. Even if you look in Black's Law Dictionary, it states that those, if you look up the term inferior, okay? Those who write the law are superior. Those who must abide by those laws that you have written, they are considered inferior. So what type of status do you think you're in when you are living by laws that weren't written by you? You're living by laws written by someone else for you, outside of yourself, who is not a part, who does not share your bloodline and your ancestral legacy and your customs. You see what I'm saying? So right there, you're inferior. And you're looked at as inferior in the courts, in the state, wherever you go. You're going to be looked at as an inferior person, meaning you're low. I'm better than you. Why? Because you don't know how to live by your own laws. We gave the law to everyone. Why? Because the law was already in us. So it's not hard to, this is what you do. And then, we wrote it down or whatever. Gave them like a blueprint to follow. But, you know what I'm saying? We embody the law. So we already know what to do, what not to do. All right? So we just got to be ourselves and not be afraid to be ourselves. Without doubt or contradiction. And don't let people to shake and waver you and tell you, how you choose to be is not right. Don't let no one do that to you. Okay? Because in essence, if we're really going to go by the saying that we're all God, then shit, that means we're all God. Okay? That means if that God over there is sustaining and making things happen for him in such a way, then that's God over there. He's doing it. Or she's doing it. But to say that because that God is not following the same protocols as I'm doing, then that God is false. That's where we get into trouble. That's where we get into trouble, because that is not ours to judge. When you look at the scales and Anubis and weighing the feather with the heart, that's not our job. That's not for us to do. That's not for us to do. We're not here to judge or weigh other people's truth. That's not our job. We're not here to place judgment on each other. right? You see that all day in the Bible. He without sin, cast the first stone. Because everyone got shit in their closet. Nobody is perfect. It don't exist. So therefore, there's no one who can claim superiority over one another because we are not perfect. That's the whole point of equality. There would be no equality if there was actually a state of perfection. The only way to be equal is to not be perfect. You must leave room for mistakes. Or leave room for people to make mistakes so they can grow from those mistakes and improve. Okay, so if you don't leave room for failure, then there's no room for improvement or success. So once again, no one man, no one being, no one entity has the ultimate solution for everything. Okay? So you cannot never downplay God or how God chooses to function and operate. Okay? Because one of the very basic maxims of law is we all have a right to be as long as we're not infringing on each other's rights or damaging their property. That's a basic maxim. That's common sense 101. Do unto others as you have to do unto you. So if you chilling, you doing your thing, you being successful, then you make sure that you don't do any foul stuff to anybody else. Don't do stuff to people you don't want done to you. If you don't want people to rob you, don't rob them. If you want people to treat you kindly, treat them kindly. If you don't want people to disrespect you, when they're speaking to you, don't do that to them. Because life is like a big ass rubber band. The shit you send out will always come bouncing back. So when the shit bounce back, some people don't like how things bounce back. But then the question comes, well, how did you send it out? Message, how did you send it out? How did you send it out for it to come back that way? Okay? It's all on us, high priest. We got to be our own high priest. All right? And that's no disrespect to the work that our elders have done. But at this point in time, I am beginning to realize that, the tradition and culture of who we are as a people has existed this long, not because of how well we've been able to keep things secret or hold shit together. It's been able to sustain this long due to the fact that there have been generations like you and I that come in to this movement, and we realize like, yo, this ain't got nothing to do with whether I'm a part of you or not. This got everything to do with who I am. Me, where I come from. And I come from my mother's womb. You know what I'm saying? So that reflects who I am. I'm a widow's son. That's my history. That's my genealogy. That's my birthrights. You see what I'm saying? So I was already granted the authority to do what I'm doing now by my creator. You know why? Because I'm here and I'm doing it. It's that simple. I'm here and I'm doing it. That's how you know. How you know? Because I'm here and I'm doing it. Am I not doing it? You can't deny the fact that I'm not. You cannot deny the fact that I am doing it. You cannot, because you see the work. You see the fruit. It's right there in your face. You can't deny it. So it's not up for debate. Okay? So my bloodline and my right to be who I am, I have a right to be a Moorish American, whether Prophet Drew Ali brought the information or not. Prophet Drew Ali had a right to be a Moorish American, whether someone gave him the information or not, whether someone gave him the knowledge itself or not. Because being who we are is a unalienable right. Do you realize that when someone says, hey, so this nationality card ain't real, or you're not a real Moor unless you're part of the temple, do you realize that's them assuming authority over you? Well, who are you to say that this doesn't stand as so? You're not in my shoes. You haven't walked my life. You haven't experienced what I've experienced in this modern day and age with what I've been able to do and what I've been able to witness my other tribal members do. So what I'm saying is, from the outside in, you cannot do that type of comparison. You can't say, well, unless you're doing this ain't going to work. You can't do that. You can't say we're God and then at the same time say, well, God, you can only do it like that. What sense does that make? It's like you're saying that we're unlimited, but then at the same time you're saying we're limited. And when I say they, I mean those type of people who believe that there's only one way of doing things, and if you don't do it this way, then you're out to lunch, or you're going to miss out. And it's like, no, there are many ways to heaven. You have to find the one that works for you. But either way, we're all going in the same direction. Everyone got their own path. Some people go like this, some people go like that, some people go like that, and they twist and turn until they find their direction. But eventually it's always in the same direction. All right. But when you put limitation on people's creativity and you don't allow them to be able to freely express, okay, based on what they've ascertained, then guess what? That's going to cause a pushback. That's going to cause a wall up, back up. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody wants to feel infringed upon. We've been infringed upon for the past 240 years by these Caucasian people who've been running, who took our seats and been running the office of the so-called United States of America. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we need to get back to who we are, and we need to really understand what it means to be a Moor. What it means to be yourself. Where does your authority come from? It comes from the Most High. It don't come from no man. You guys are killing me with this shit. It don't come from no man. It comes from the Most High. And the proof that contract is in existence is, like I said, when you see the actual work. The work. So that's how I can know what Prophet Joali did. There's truth to that because I can see fruit. Now, as far as, is it the only truth? No, because I can also see the good sides of the movement and the bad sides of the movement. Because like I said, no one man, no one entity, and no one organization has all the solutions for all problems. Don't work like that. So what I'm saying is, whether you're in a temple or not, you are a Moorish American. You are a Moor. And if someone wants to debate with you, well, you can't be a Moorish American unless, because the Prophet coined that term. Well, you know what? No problem. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize you're the Prophet. So the Prophet coined the term, but then here you come, not the Prophet, you know what I'm saying that it's out of pocket. Well, if that's the case, then I don't want to rock with none of those things. That's how my mind functions. I don't want to rock with none of those things. You know what I'm going to rock with? I'm a Moor. That's it. I'm a Moor. Because you know why? When I look into history, and I look into congressional records, and I look into artifacts and stuff like that, all I see is facts about Moors. I don't see anything about Moorish Americans. And I'm not taking shots, but I'm letting y'all know we are an ancient people. Okay? So when we say this is a modern day and time, so what we got to do now is we got to kind of change certain things so that way we can operate smoothly in this day and age. That's cool. I don't got no problem with that. But it seemed like people want to make a big deal out of this. Moors, Moorish Americans. Moorish. Moorish means kind of sort of. No, it's not. It just means pertaining to. Pertaining to something. You know what I'm saying? Pertaining to something. So if it's Moorish, that means it's pertaining to Moors. Period. That's what Moorish means. Okay? So once again, man, I got nothing but love and respect for the Prophet and all the information and the knowledge he brought. God damn it. Like, I probably wouldn't be awake if it wasn't for that. But to say that because of that, you know what I'm saying? I have to follow his way all the way through. And if I do something that is not how he did it, then I'm in the wrong, or I'm false, or I'm out of pocket. We got to stop that. We got to stop that. Because everyone has a piece of the puzzle, including the Prophet. The Prophet was one of us that had a piece to the puzzle, not the whole fucking puzzle. Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? The Prophet didn't have the whole puzzle. He had the piece. That's why he said, if I gave you everything, you'd go back to sleep. And then he also made sure to say, hey, there are some Moors in the movement who are working against me. Be careful. Why would he say all these things if the movement had all the answers? So even he was dealing with BS, okay, when he's doing the work. So what I'm saying is we're doing the work while dealing with BS. Okay? So you have other Moors trying to say, hey, you're not a Moor, you're less of a Moor because you're not doing this, or you're not doing this according to that, or the Prophet did this and you're not doing that. So it's like, yo, this is a modern day and age. We all have our own right to be who we are. And so we all have to confess our own. Not that someone has to confess it for us. Because if that's the case, then the Prophet could have just declared my nationality for me and I didn't have to do shit. But see, no, I still had to do the work. I'm the one doing the work. Because the Prophet inspired me to do the work. What is the work? The work is uplifting fallen humanity. That is not a work specifically for the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc. Or the Moorish Science Temple of America, or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. That mission is not just for Moors. That is for humanity. The job of humanity is to uplift itself. Meaning work on yourself, to raise your vibration. That's called character building, aka masonry. The true essence of masonry is to build character. Build it up, not break it down. It ain't just about laying bricks and stones together. It's about your character. That's what you're building. Brick by brick, stone by stone. Okay? So be yourself, man. And don't allow other Moors to make you feel like they're over you. This is not the day and age for that. Everyone got to be their own master, their own high priest. All right? Stop looking for other people to be a high priest over you. Or don't allow other people to be a high priest over you. Because we're living according to our own conscience. Okay? My conscience and concept of the religion or the attachment that I have to my creator and my religion and my customs and my traditions, that's between A and B. My relationship with my creator isn't the same one that you have with yours. Okay? So you got to respect that. You got to acknowledge that. And you got to always be mindful that you're not the only God on this planet. So you don't got all the answers. Nor do you have all the solutions. And sometimes you might be the actual cause of problems. You see what I'm saying? So we got to keep that in mind. So we're in an age now where it's about love. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and equality. How are we going to be equal if we are not equally free to express what we know as the truth based on what we've gained through experiences, through living, research, meditation, adopting certain habits in our lifestyle to help our body function in a better aspect. So like we're doing the work. So stop knocking the younger generations because we're not doing it exactly how y'all did it back then. And I'm talking about to the elders. The elders of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Stop doing that.